4.5 million. Just take a second to think about that number. 4.5 million. That is a massive number of voices. Imagine millions of people sharing this incredibly deep, intricate cultural tapestry, one that stretches across highlands, across national borders, and now across oceans.
Okay, let's dive right into this. Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're exploring the fascinating world of the Karen people. Now, despite centuries of historical displacement and intense political conflict, the Karen have preserved a remarkably rich heritage. We're talking distinct languages, totally unique ancient writing systems, the whole shebang. It's an absolute story of resilience, and honestly, understanding it gives us a brilliant window into the human geography of Southeast Asia.
So here is our roadmap for today. 1. An introduction to the Karen. 2. We'll uncover the secrets of their national flag. 3. We'll dig into their languages and ancient scripts. 4. Karen Takra and traditional life. And finally, number 5, their modern identity and global resilience.
All right, let's kick things off with Section 1, Introduction to the Karen, Origins and Scale.
Geographically speaking, the Karen mostly live up in the lush highlands of southeastern Myanmar, right along the western border regions of Thailand. Historically, the belief is that they migrated south from Tibet or Central Asia centuries and centuries ago. They actually arrived in their current region after the Mon people, but before the Burmans. Now today, those 4.5 million speakers we talked about, they aren't just one monolith. They form a highly diverse population broken down mainly into 3 subgroups. You've got the Sgaw, making up about half of the population, the Pwo at roughly a third, and the Pwo, which are sometimes called the Black Karen, at about 19%. And while they absolutely share these ancient ancestral roots, each group has really evolved its own distinct cultural and linguistic identity over time. Moving right along to Section 2, Secrets of the National Flag, a Symbol of Unity. Now, to truly grasp the Karen identity, we literally have to look at their most potent visual emblem. What's really interesting about this flag is that it completely crosses religious boundaries. It proudly unifies both Buddhist and Christian Karen communities worldwide. And there's just so much profound symbolism packed into this one single design. First off, the tricolor background speaks volumes. Red represents bravery and a willingness to sacrifice. White stands for purity and spiritual integrity. And blue? That symbolizes loyalty. But look closely at the top left corner. That rising sun features exactly 9 rays. Those represent the 9 traditional Karen regions, acting as a symbol of hope that they'll never fall into darkness. Right in the center of that sun sits the golden frog drum, a traditional ritual instrument representing their peaceful identity. It's flanked by buffalo horns for strength. And the frog motif? That's all about prosperity, because the frog's croak heralds the rainy season and, of course, an abundant harvest.
Now, the history of this flag is a really fascinating journey in itself. The whole concept was born back in the 1930s during the British colonial era. Then, in 1935, a design by a man named Man McKin actually won a public competition that was approved by the Burmese parliament. It was officially raised for the first time in 1937 at a Karen New Year celebration in Yangon. But things changed. Following Burma's independence in 1948, the Karen National Union launched a resistance movement seeking autonomy. Because the flag became a symbol of this movement, it was subsequently banned by Burmese authorities. Though, as you might expect, the Karen people just kept right on flying it during their cultural events.
We do need to draw a really vital distinction here to understand the dynamics of the region. If we look at the official flag of Kayin State in Myanmar, you'll notice it features a white star, and that reflects its affiliation with the Union of Myanmar. But the Karen national ethnic flag, the one with the rising sun and frog drum we've just been decoding, that is the flag that holds deep, deep cultural significance for the people themselves. It serves as this powerful vessel of their history and shared identity, especially for those living in the diaspora today.
Okay, on to Section 3, Languages and Ancient Scripts, the Voice of the Karen.
The Karen communicate through this complex linguistic web that sits within the Sino-Tibetan language family. And the crucial point here, the thing that's super fascinating to linguists, is how centuries of migration literally restructured how they speak. So Karen languages belong to the Tibeto-Burman branch. Now, almost all languages in this branch use a subject-object-verb sentence structure. Think, I the apple ate. But the Karen languages use subject-verb-object, like English. I ate the apple. Why? Well, it's because of intense historical contact with neighboring Mon and Thai groups. The Karen basically absorbed their grammatical influence, creating this total anomaly right in the middle of their language family tree.
And to put that diversity into perspective, this really brilliantly illustrates just how mutually unintelligible those 3 main dialects are. Check out their varying tonal systems. They range from 4 to 6 tones depending entirely on the language. And just look at the word for water. In Sgaw, it's I. In Pwo, it's he, and in Pwo, it's num. I mean, they evolved so differently based on their geography and who their neighbors were, despite having those shared ancestral roots. Actually, let's try speaking a little bit of it right now. If you want to say a really practical, general greeting for hello or good afternoon in Sgaw Karen, you'd say, Nilo Agai. Try saying it with me right now, wherever you're sitting. Nilo Agai. It's such a beautiful expression, and it gives you a tiny, direct glimpse into their everyday communication.
Now, just as their spoken languages are incredibly diverse, their ancient scripts are a total mosaic too. The evolution of their writing systems was heavily shaped by religious affiliations and missionary influences back in the 1800s. Sgaw Karen uses a Burmese-based script developed by American missionaries, but they also have a culturally significant Buddhist variant called Letalanya. Pwo Karen actually uses two main script traditions entirely. One is Mon-based for Buddhists, and the other is Burmese-based for Christians. Meanwhile, Pwo uses a modified Burmese script that features completely unique tone markers just to handle its specific phonetics.
All right, moving to Section 4, Karen to Crow and Traditional Life, Rhythm and Unity.
So this is a vibrant part of their culture you'll often see celebrated during New Year and harvest festivals. Now, if you're familiar with Sepak Takraw in Thailand, you know it as this incredibly intense, acrobatic, competitive match played over a net. Well, Karen Takraw flips that paradigm entirely. It's a cooperative game, and it's played in a circle. The players keep a handmade, woven rattan ball in the air using their feet, knees, and shoulders. But here's the kicker. The goal isn't to score points against an opponent. The goal is unity. It is all about teamwork. It's about keeping the rhythm going, and it's often played to the beat of traditional drums and songs. Honestly, it feels way more like a communal dance than a competitive sport.
And finally, Section 5, Modern Identity and Global Resilience, the Global Diaspora.
So let's take a step back and look at where the Karen people stand today. They are stretched out from their ancestral homeland all the way to vibrant communities across the globe. And despite all that historical displacement, the Karen cultural tapestry isn't just surviving. Contemporary activists and artists are making sure it is actively thriving in the modern world. Diaspora communities in places like the US, Canada, Australia, and Europe are relentlessly fighting to preserve this heritage. We're talking setting up community schools for language revitalization, rigorously documenting their oral histories, and passing down traditional weaving and music. And what's even more exciting, modern Karen youth are blending those ancestral roots with digital media, film, and visual arts, ensuring their story reaches a massive global audience.
Which brings us right back to the core of what connects them all, Kathali, a homeland of peace, dignity, and freedom. This is the enduring dream of the Karen people. It's the exact same dream woven into the fabric of that national flag we decoded earlier, a flag that, by the way, is still proudly raised today at dawn in community centers, in churches, and at festivals by refugees and exiles all around the world.
So, I'm going to leave you with a fascinating thought to ponder. How will the digital age and a growing global diaspora shape the next chapter of the Karen cultural tapestry? I mean, the Karen people have proven their incredible resilience through centuries of change. They've adapted their languages, preserved their ancient scripts, and kept their communal rhythms alive. Their story is far from over. In fact, an entirely new global chapter is just beginning. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. Keep learning, keep exploring, and I'll catch you next time.